When selecting a stove for backpacking, it's important to consider what you're going to cook. Many of the stoves that are on the table here will boil water, but some of them do it a little bit more efficiently and a little more effectively than others. What I can tell you is that every single one will boil water. What I can't say is that every single one of these stoves will efficiently and effectively cook in the backcountry. What do I mean by cook? I mean sauces, stews, use of a backcountry oven, fillet of trout, eggs. Let's face it, some of us don't like to leave our creature comforts, especially our culinary comforts, at home in the backcountry. If you're one of those people, then the MSR DragonFly is the stove for you. The MSR DragonFly was designed specifically with that backcountry chef in mind. It's a very wide pot support system, which will enable you to use a very wide fry pan or large stock pot on top of it without problem. It will also enable you to use multiple fuels, so regardless of where you are in the world, kerosene, diesel fuel, jet fuel, unleaded gasoline, or what we'd prefer that you burn, white gas, will function in this stove. Why is this stove different, and what makes it different or better for that backcountry gourmet? Very simple. Every other stove that you see on this table in the liquid fuel variety is designed to run off of the pressure in the canister, and as a result, when you turn the valve, the flame doesn't adjust. We're used to our home stove. You turn the valve, the flame goes up. You turn it down, the flame goes down. That doesn't really happen over here. It's a little delayed and a little bit trickier than your standard home stove. So MSR's engineers set out to create the DragonFly with that ease of use that you would see in a home stove. It has a secondary fuel valve. It uses a pump, just like every other MSR pump. This one's a little different. It's the only stove in the line that uses this unique pump, and that's because this pump does not meter fuel. It doesn't regulate fuel flow at all. All it does is turn fuel flow on and off. So once this is screwed on, that just turns fuel flow on or off. It doesn't slow it down or make it go faster. This plugs in here, just like on most of the MSR stoves, and clips in with this retaining clip. But that's where the similarities stop. From there, the fuel is going to flow down this fuel line into this secondary control valve. And that secondary control valve meters fuel or controls the fuel flow all the way down here right at the point of combustion. And why that's important is because it's a much more micro-adjust environment. We're controlling the flow of vaporous fuel at that point as opposed to controlling the flow of liquid fuel. And what you get is a much more accurate and immediate response from the flame. So if I turn this fuel valve up, the flame is immediately going to increase. When I turn the fuel valve down, immediately decrease. End result, much more control, which means you can do a much better job of preparing whatever you want to cook in the backcountry.